Today, I'm diving into why starting your print-on-demand brand with super serious, lofty goals could actually be the biggest mistake that you make. Most people come into this business with intense pressure. They want to quit their 9-to-5 job, gain time freedom, build financial stability. And those are all great goals, but when those ambitions become the only lens that you view your progress through, they can crush your creativity and burn you out before you even get going. Hi guys, my name is Meg Heckman, and I have built 4 separate Shopify print-on-demand brands to $7 million in sales over the last 5 years. And I attribute a lot of the success that I've seen all due to the fact that I didn't approach print-on-demand super seriously. In this video, I'm going to show you why making print-on-demand fun first and serious second may actually be the smartest strategy. We're going to talk about the mindset, the model, and the method that you can start using today. So first, let's get into the mindset. Let's talk about what happens when you come into print on demand with a super serious mindset. You've got big goals. Maybe you want to quit your job or replace your income, gain freedom, travel the world. Amazing. Those are all incredible goals to have. But if that's the only way that we are measuring our success, it creates intense pressure. And pressure will suck the fun and the creativity out of everything. Every little bump in the road starts to become a massive roadblock. Your ads don't work. You panic. Your first designs don't sell. You think you're just not cut out for this. You start thinking, if this doesn't work, I'm failing. And that kind of pressure, it makes you quit early. It makes you play it safe and overthink every decision that you could make. It makes taking fewer risks, trying fewer experiments, and that is the kiss of death in this business. So to better understand this, let me share my story. I started my print-on-demand store while I was working as a full-time bedside nurse. I was working 3 12-hour shifts per week. It was definitely not an easy job by any means, but surprisingly flexible in the way that I could stack my shifts and sometimes end up with 5 or 6 days off at a time without ever having to use a vacation day. My goal with print on demand was never to quit my job. I never really had that thought in mind. It was more just because I wanted to see if I could actually make a little bit of extra money online. I wasn't looking for time freedom. I wasn't looking to really travel the world. I was already able to do a lot of that with my job. It was really something that I could play around with in my spare time. And I started this right before COVID hit. So at the time, I basically was working. And when I wasn't working, I was coming home to sit in my apartment by myself and work on my print on demand business. So it ended up just being something to kind of distract myself through that really crazy and wild time in all of our lives. Now, my first store ended up being a complete failure. I lost money. There were very few sales. It was definitely messy, but I loved the entire journey of it. I learned how to set up a Shopify store. I learned how to work with designers. I learned about branding, about product mock-ups and marketing. It was so fun and so different from my normal job that I enjoyed it for a lot of different reasons. But if I had come into this thinking that I had to make it work or else, I probably would have quit way earlier on. But because I was in play mode, it was okay to have fun. It was okay to mess up and potentially fail because I didn't know what I was doing. I was really just in it to be creative and have fun. And if I made money, awesome. Like that was a great upside. Now, if you're watching and you're thinking, if it hadn't had been fun, I don't know if I would have continued to push through to start another store. Because I think if it was the journey for me, felt like pulling teeth, I never would have taken that kind of failed store and started another store afterwards. I think if it was painful and I felt like a failure, I would have just stopped after my first store and said, this isn't for me. And I would have continued being a bedside nurse. Now, luckily for me, I came in with the point of having fun and turning it into playing. It was more of like a side project. So instead of having that crazy pressure on myself, it was more of just playing around and seeing what would happen. And that then led me to taking the steps of doing another store because I had fun with the first one. Now, if you're somebody who's watching this video and you're wondering, how do I even get started in this? Like, okay, yeah, I want to approach approach it with having fun, but like, what are the steps to getting one of these stores off the ground and running? And if you're looking for a community or free resources, I've dropped in the description below a link to my free school community. There, you'll have access to 51 plus hours of free course training materials. On top of that, we have templates. We have a ton of free resources for you to utilize. And you'll be a part of a community with other people who are trying to do the exact same thing that you're doing, trying to get a Shopify print-on-demand store up and running. So if that's something that you're interested, please click the link in the description below and check out my free school community. Again, everything there is completely free. So here's the thing. When you're having fun, you're definitely more creative and you're more willing to take risks. You follow your weird ideas and you just try random stuff out. And that mindset leads to better designs, better branding, and overall better stories. And down the line, better results. Some of my best-selling products came from moments when I was just messing around and playing in Canva. No pressure at all, just playing around. And let's be real, this is a creative business. If you kill your creativity with stress and over-planning, you're going to then kill the momentum. Fun gives you the room to explore, to experiment, and to find your voice and your style. And that is the stuff that actually makes you stand out in the market. So now that we've talked about the mindset, let's talk about the simple model that keeps print-on-demand fun and sustainable. The first part of the model is time. Give yourself a realistic time frame. You wouldn't expect to master anything in a week. Give yourself time to learn and time to mess up. You wouldn't expect to be really good at cooking in just a weekend. It takes a lot of practice, and print-on-demand is no different. The second part of the model is play. Use this early stage to test different tools and platforms. Play around with Canva and the different AI design tools that are out there. Look within your niche, get more creative, explore all the different avenues. And by doing that, the more confident and creative you will become. The third part of the model is wins. Set up small, achievable wins that keep your momentum going. Get your first listing live. Celebrate getting your Shopify store live. Celebrate completing your first 7 designs. Every micro win keeps the momentum going and helps you stay motivated without needing the huge breakthrough. That's truly the model: time, play, and wins. And by following that model, we then come to the method, and that's use fun as your fuel instead of chasing perfection or massive results right out of the gate. We want to chase enjoyment because the more that we enjoy the process, the more likely we are to stick with it. And when you stick with it, that's when you see the real growth. If something feels boring or overwhelming, simplify it. If a niche doesn't excite you, pivot. If your tools feel frustrating, go out, play, and find another one that you enjoy more. The method is to stay in curiosity. Let the fun guide your decisions until results start to follow, because they will follow, because you're putting the time and you're putting the practice into print on demand. And don't worry, it will get serious at some point. Something will click. And when your product starts selling consistently, when you start to know your audience, when you've built out the systems and your confidence, that is when print on demand truly becomes serious. And that's when you can scale the business. But you only get there if you survive the beginning and the big learning curve that comes with it. And making it fun is how you will end up surviving through that phase. So if you've been feeling stuck or overwhelmed, this is your permission to slip. You don't need to have it all figured out. You don't need to quit your job tomorrow, and you don't need to be perfect. You just need to keep showing up, keep learning, and keep playing. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to my channel. It would absolutely mean the world to me. And if you're interested in joining my free school community, that's linked in the description below. Again, we have 51 plus hours of free course material, templates, as well as free resources for you to use and get your store off the ground and running. Other than that, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.